They hold a funeral for your father. You're becoming an old hand at these funerals. Uncle Tonin, Calm, and everyone else who's died in an attack. It feels like your own mother's funeral was only weeks ago. It's so colossally unfair. No one quite knows what to say to you, though they grieve along with you. It doesn't make it any easier. Auntie Seton and all the other adults of the colony will always be there for you, but you guess you're an orphan now. You miss your dad. You miss your mom too. Mostly, you just sleep. One morning, Chief Engineer Instance asks you to visit her in the medbay. You go because you don't have the energy to say no. I have to tell you something delicate about your father's condition, Solanna. She begins, folding her hands on her desk. I hope this information will give you some comfort. After your father's death, we continued to research the shimmer, she continues, her voice even and neutral. Being able to study the disease in its terminal phase, and beyond, was the missing piece. We now know how to prevent the shimmer from taking hold in human cells, she says, a faint smile not quite reaching her eyes. With cultures grown from your father's cell lineage, everyone in the colony can be inoculated against the shimmer. Thanks to your father, we have a cure. I wish he hadn't died, but at least it wasn't in vain then. It's okay to feel that way, Instance tells you with uncharacteristic kindness that you find comforting. Grief is different for everyone. If you need more time off to rest, nobody will mind. I guess so, yeah. You spend the month writing a prodigious amount of poetry, deleting it almost as soon as you're done. It makes you feel a little better to be able to express your feelings. Now that I feel better, I think the only thing for me to do is to get to work in the medbay to help Dr. Instance prevent anything like this from ever happening again. I just wish we had been able to find a cure before the loss of my dad. But now it's the dust season, and Tangent has something to say. Tangent looks up from her holopalm, blinking as her eyes refocus on the middle distance and then on you. Her previously long hair is gone, buzzed close to her scalp. You almost didn't recognize her when you first saw her. You wonder if it was caused by a lab accident or something. Hey, Solanna, she says, already cagey. Do you need something? No, I just came by to say hello. The faintest hint of relief passes across Tang's face. You get the impression that not pressing her on her personal appearance is a wise choice. Oh, well, hello then, Tang replies. She raises her hand as if to push her hair out of her face, but stops when she realizes what she's doing. I'm rather busy at the moment, actually, so if you don't mind, I can take the hint. I guess can go look around some more to see what we can find. I see a meshwood log over in the corner of geoponics. And, you know, given the fact that it is dust season, the hottest season now, it probably ought to help in the medbay with surveyors that have had the aforementioned heat stroke. You report for your first shift as Dr. Instance's nursing assistant. Instance was never supposed to be the literal doctor for everyone in the colony. All of the colony's medical needs were supposed to be covered by the med beds, and then eventually with trained medical professionals from your generation. like me. With the growing number of wounded and sick, it's pulling Instance's attention away from her actual work in the lab, hence why she needs the help. And why I should fill in the role to help with any future sicknesses that come about, as well as helping the colonists that are injured and surveyors and attacks. I am a doctor, not a physician, Instance grumbles as she swipes through her holopalm to give you access to the medbay systems. I can study the local xenofauna so it stops killing us, or I can treat burns and upset tummies. I can't do both. There, she says, as the haptics in your holopalm pulse. You should have access. Now don't bother me for anything less than a cranial bleed. It's a medbed, not a jar of leeches. Just follow the instructions and push the right buttons. You need something? Ask Congruence. Congruence beams at you from her holomonitor. Can you handle that? I mean, I wish I had more training. You learn best from other people, not from manuals or machines. Don't worry, Congruence assures you. I'll walk you through everything. You'll have more information than you know what to do with. Okay. There are no patients today, so you're going to brush up on your first aid training. Every colonist gets first aid training starting in their early teens. Lungs gotta breathe, heart's gotta beat, blood should stay inside the body. Check. And it would also be good to get familiar with where everything is in the med bay. You run through quiz scenarios with Congruence for a whole week. CPR, elevate and put pressure on wounds, wrap broken bones, flush eyes with water, leave foreign objects in, and be real careful with neck injuries. Fun fact, Congruence informs you, in the field, your holopalm can just charge its batteries all at once like a makeshift defibrillator. Really? That's pretty cool. First aid is important, but the goal is just to get the person stable long enough to bring them here to a medbed. That's where you and Dr. Instance will take over. You'll be fine. It might only be a matter of life or death, no biggie. Yay! It's already the Vertumnalia! In the midst of the colony decorating and setting out the food for the feast, you have trouble finding your festive spirit. Your dad's only been dead for a few weeks. How can anyone celebrate at a time like this? You gather in the colony square for the usual speeches. That's right. This is my first Vertumnalia without Dad. Loom takes the stage to fanfare and applause. Hello, people of Vertumna! He exclaims over the din. Happy Vertumnalia! He raises his hands to call for silence. Before we celebrate, I want to recognize those we've lost this year. Head of Japonics Geranium and Surveyor Imbroglio. The crowd goes silent for a minute. Your vision blurs with tears. How is this supposed to make you feel better that he's gone? This year has taught us that the aliens are more dangerous than we ever knew, Loom continues. It's not just the attacks during Glow, they're weaponizing the very air we breathe. But they won't win. Already we've discovered how to beat them at their own game. With everyone inoculated against the Shimmer, we're one step closer to total domination over this planet. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm upset at all the damage that's been done and death, but I don't know that total domination is the answer. There must still be some way to try to find some harmony, right? After the council members each give their annual reports, everyone starts clearing the square to set up for the Vertumnalia Games. You feel the pulse of a new holo message in your palm and open it up to read, Happy Vertumnalia! There's a present for you on the table. XOXO, your secret admirer? You rush over to the feast table and spot a wrapped present in among the roasted vegetables. Wow, I have a secret admirer? You unwrap your present. It's a data band. You snap it on your wrist and boot it up on your holopalm. It's full of all your favorite songs, videos, shows, and games. A collection curated by someone who must really know you. Now, you'll always have your media with you, even if the net goes down, including all of your favorite episodes of The Rise and Fall of the Sanctuary Moon. Nice. You search the holopalm for any hints as to who could have made it, but you can't find anything. You'll have to ask around, but later. The games are about to begin. You assemble with the other kids for the annual games. What do you choose this year? I don't know. I know my dad would probably want me to still participate, but with him not here to see me, it just doesn't really feel like there's a point in it. You head up to the walls to get a break from the crowds. Dees is up here as well, sketching in a notebook. He shows you a few drawings he's made of the various Vertumnan animals, like the Unisaur. They starved and dragged out for the Xeno wrangling competition this year. It sucks, he says, but doesn't say anything more after that. You're not sure if he means his drawing, or the competition, or the whole colony. Oh yeah, the competition definitely does. After the festivities, everyone descends on the feast. You heap your plate up with more food than you can eat in 3 sittings. Everyone around you is so happy, but you can't help but notice the empty space where your dad should be sitting. It's your first holiday as an orphan. The other colonists try to make room for you in their conversations, but it's not the same. So, I wonder... The gift came from someone that I had to have known really well. There's still 3 unknown. And out of everyone, I'm by far closest to Cal. And I suppose it does make sense that he might give me a gift to try to cheer me up from the passing of my father, so I bet it probably was him. You find Cal catching a break in the shade of one of the garden sheds. A wide-brimmed hat pulls down low over his eyes. Hearing you approach, he lifts the brim and shoots you a smile. Hey, Solanna, taking a break too? Someone gave you that databand. It has to have been Cal. But I guess not? Who else could it have been? I mean, he's the only one who knows me that well, and I guess, but it would make sense that he probably doesn't want to give me the wrong idea. But that kind of thoughtfulness is something that Tammy could have done. That also seems like something she might do. Tammy is sweeping the stoop of the lounge. Seeing you approach, she stops and wipes her forehead. Hello, Solanna, she chirps. Do you need something? Other than Cal, you're the only person who makes sense. Tammy gasps and claps her hands. You have a secret admirer? She exclaims. That's so romantic. I wish I had an admirer. You do. You're dating Cal. But who else could it have been? I'm not that close with anyone else. I guess it doesn't really matter. I should just focus on getting to work, I guess. And besides, if it is a romantic thing, I'm just not really sure that that's really something I'm interested in anymore. Tank flags you down the hallway. Oh, Solanna, do you have a moment? You go on expeditions sometimes, right? No, never. I never left the boundary of the colony because it's so dangerous out there. But you think it's not terribly dangerous? I guess I can keep an eye out for hop-eye eggs that are just right around the colony borders. That's all I ask, Tang replies primly. They're quite common, if the reports from the foragers are to be believed. They tell me that they are commonly find nests in the Valley of Vertigo. It's positively lousy with them. Well, I really don't want to go far from the colony. I guess I can go ahead and just push through for 5 stress. And Now it's late dust, so I guess we'll figure out how we'll continue the rest of this month next time.